Yes, so here to talk to you about Wandera. We've created a new category in enterprise mobility that we call Mobile Data Gateway. And Mobile Data Gateway is all about helping enterprise customers better manage their mobile data usage. We're leveraging a unique architectural model to solve challenges that are not being addressed by traditional MDM and containers. In fact, 84% of our customers are MDM customers and use a container and still leverage our mobile data gateway. What we'll do today is talk through our unique architecture, our portfolio of services, but drill down into what we're very excited about, which is this week's launch of our new security offer to counter mobile threats that are compromising smartphones and other mobile devices. We reached a milestone this quarter of processing 350 million content requests every single day. Well regarded, I think, and by the analyst community, received recently a cool vendor in enterprise mobility by Gartner. So because we've got a little bit of time constraints, I'm going to skip over a couple of these slides in this presentation. Quickly just talk to you about the profile of our customer. We generally work with very large enterprises that have lots of international offices, financial services, professional services, accounting firms, law firms, and generally every kind of vertical. But we also have several hundred SMB customers that are benefiting from this centralized cloud platform with all of these enterprise features. So if we start by introducing the architecture behind Mobile Data Gateway. So at the core, the way that Wandera works is that there's an end-user application that's simply deployed onto the end-user device. It configures a profile to send the web traffic across the browser and all applications through to our cloud gateway. What that means is that we have very granular insight into data. Into the data in transit. We present insights in real time, and these are actionable by our customers in real time. So underpinning our offering is we have a single cloud platform, this global multi-tenant distributed architecture sitting in the path of the data in between employee devices and the cloud and the internet. It's carrier independent. There's zero requirement for us to integrate with any carriers to deploy our customers. So at the core and underpinning our platform, we have very, very powerful analytics because we have this granular insight into the data. We can report up to the second what type of content your users are engaging with, where they are in the world when they're doing so, what applications and what websites. Underpinning again our architecture, we have what we've developed proprietary compression algorithms to compress all of the content across web, images and video and text to deliver data savings to companies. We deliver 20 to 30% data savings without any adverse degradation in the quality with end users engaging with that content on their device. We also deliver very sophisticated policy enforcement. So a lot of our customers are saying, well, when their users are around the world accessing Facebook or YouTube over a 3 or 4G connection, they're interested in mitigating the cost exposure to their enterprise and want to enforce some kind of policy akin to the traditional content filtering model in the network. And finally, we have intelligent data capping. So companies can avoid bill shock, avoid having a data spike while still ensuring that employees have access to critical company resources like email and the corporate intranet. But what we're here to discuss today in more detail is this pioneering multi-level mobile security model that we have extended our mobile data gateway platform to provide, and that's all about protecting smartphones from external mobile threats. Just before we dive into that solution, a few other words about our architecture. One, we provide in-app user reporting and notifications which help educate your users so they have a better understanding how they're engaging with the internet, what it means from a content perspective, and any security exposures that they're facing as an individual or exposing the company to. And I think one of the main reasons we've had so much traction with our customers and very large-scale deployments is this whole element of experience that's been talked about already a couple of times today. It's completely seamless and transparent from end users. They continue to engage with their device as they do today, but benefiting from the security protection and this deep analytics and cost-saving capability. And we as a company are a mobile-first company. So if we just quickly look at the portfolio suite of services that we provide, the first challenge that we hear time and again from our customers is that mobile is a black box. It represents 1/3 of all internet usage today and is rising, but customers are struggling with getting a better understanding of how those users and their users are engaging with mobile. If you've rolled out a custom application, who's using it? Where are they in the world are they using it? What department is using it? What time of day are they using it? What benefit are they getting from it? What other public cloud applications are they using that could represent either a productivity benefit for your company if you introduced a similar thing company-wide, or a security exposure to your company? At the moment, it's a black box, and they want better understanding and intelligence to inform policy and action. The second key challenge that we hear time and again is the rising cost. We've all committed to providing enterprise mobility. We all recognize the productivity benefits, but boy, does it come at a big cost for companies. There's a rising spike in data utilization. It's over doubled in the course of the last 12 months. When customers have migrated away from BlackBerry to iOS and Samsung, they're faced with a 6x spike in data usage. That's just on a smartphone, let alone a tablet. With the advent of 4G and video, data utilization is continuing to rise. And time and again, we hear companies having a roaming story where some users around the world and had a bill shock event. So our portfolio of real-time configurable compression that companies can control and is adaptive based on the source quality of the content and the end-user connection speed helps them mitigate the data utilization and helps them deliver 30 to 60% data savings as a whole. And finally, we now have our security offer, which is all about, again, mitigating against this rising and evolving threat landscape across mobile. So let's dive into our secure offer. What's happening out there? So there's, I think, a misperception, or there has been, at least until recently, that the iOS platform is very secure and people don't need to worry about it. But what we're seeing is that there's been a big shift from the hacking community to try and target the weakest link into the enterprise, which is end-user devices. And while it's very true that the iOS operating system is secure, it's vulnerable in lots of different ways and areas, most notably in the applications that reside on that device. Yes, they have an approval process, but there's no standard that sets applications and application providers what kind of inbuilt security that they need to provide into their application. And these apps have control and access to calendars, microphones, location, contact address book, etc. And a lot of them are sending that information out in the clear, as we'll see. Also, phishing attacks. These are things that, something we've all been aware of for years and years and years. But on a smartphone, an end user is 3 times more likely to be susceptible to a phishing attack, mainly because the screen size obfuscates the top-level URL, and it's less easy to understand and see that you're trying to be navigated to somewhere that's malicious or rogue. A recent incident of a phish attack is something called Oleg Pliss, which locked users' phones and using the Find My Phone feature and made them enter their iCloud credentials to unlock their phone, and then gave hackers access to iCloud. Second type of more severe attacks that can happen, we've also all recognized that jailbreaks exist, and a lot of users feel the need to jailbreak their device. When that device is jailbroken, it bypasses all of the kind of traditional security measures inbuilt within the OS and gives the hacker device-wide privileges. A lot of jailbreaks, like this Panju one that came out relatively recently, deploys onto the end user device without the end user knowing that it's been deployed, and bypasses any detection of traditional NDM when it's on the device. Malicious profiles, so there's an ability to hack the configuration profile of the end user device to send all of that web traffic to a malicious source, and they have complete control and insight into everything that's happening on the end user device. And finally, exploits of OS vulnerabilities. There was one as it related to 7.0.04 and 7.06, where a man-in-the-middle attack could take complete control of the device. They also had the ability on non-jailbroken phones to secretly see any keys that had been tapped or any data that had been inputted by the end user. So the threat landscape is there and it's evolving. We still think today that the highest risk to enterprises, not based on the severity of the attack, but based on the sheer volume of insecure applications, resides from the apps that are deployed on the end user device, but the threat landscape is ever changing. And if we talk through, our solution and how we kind of look to address that. So we have this innovative model. It's unique in the industry, multi-tier security. And what does that mean? Well, at the core, we sit in the path of the web data in between the employee device and the cloud. So we have very granular, very real-time insight into that traffic. And we can do deep analysis of the traffic as it comes through us, deep understanding of the applications, what attributes they have, what access to different content, and whether they're secure or insecure. Just this week, we've published, we already had notified Hilton, and they've rectified the problem, but Hilton application sent username, password, any reservations, email address, location in the clear, unencrypted. Economist, CNBC, the CNBC application can tell any, if you get in the middle of that, you can see anybody's portfolio. All of that information is sent in the clear, unencrypted by mainstream traditional applications, let alone malicious providers. So we're in that part of the data in the cloud. But uniquely in the industry, we layer that insight and capability with what we call device heartbeats. So our end user application that resides on the device is monitoring what's happening on the device, sending any anomalous traffic behavior detection through to our cloud, and what we call general process and traffic information heartbeats. And what's unique about our model is that we correlate those two data sources. We have proprietary machine learning algorithms that are looking to correlate data flows between the two and try and identify unknown threats. We leverage third-party resources, databases, and data sets to augment our capability in the cloud, and we leverage this very large data set, these 350 million requests we see on a daily basis, to try and identify threats. And the nut of it all is that we represent and present to customers an understanding of two key things. One, has there been any malware or malicious attacks on this device, and what is the profile of risks and leaks? So even if there hasn't been a malware event, if that user every day visits a new Wi-Fi hotspot, every day tries to check out a new URL that hasn't been previously seen, never updates their OS, you know that that device has a greater exposure and vulnerability to compromise, and it may inform you in the data access privileges that you provide to that end user. And we report on persistent threats. These are threats that you as an administrator need to remediate, like an application that you have to get off the device to avoid the problem, or network events that we're blocking real-time in the path of the traffic. So let's look at our correlation in action. I've got two quick examples for you. One is this Hilton application that we mentioned. So when it was running through SmartWire, we could identify that the user information, password, username, location was being sent unencrypted in the clear. We could identify through Heartbeat all of the users across the enterprise that were leveraging the Hilton application and using this particular feature which sent this information in the clear, and we could alert the administrator to the problem and the exposure and recommend a remediation plan if they decided that that was the right course of action. Similarly, one that's led by the Heartbeat, we can monitor all anomalies and connections that are happening on the device. Here we can see that there's a backdoor network socket to a rogue IP address. And everybody who's on the device, any security provider that's on the device, can see that. But because we're in the path of the data, SmartWire can identify the specific application that's being used that has launched this backdoor network socket. And so we're able to correlate those two data sources and identify that it's, in this case, Gaming Corp that's the malicious application and responsible for that anomalous behavior. So how does this get reported to administrators? You have access to Radar, our real-time data reporting interface. It gives you to-the-second real-time activity, both on usage, which you're seeing at the bottom, analytics of where your users are going, what type of content they're seeing, the split of business versus personal internet usage, cost savings, you know, what is it costing you on a daily basis from your roaming users around the world and where are they, and these security events. So we report on severity of individual threats, of a severity and risk profile of a device, of an application, and company-wide. So you can prioritize your action. You can immediately see what your company risk score is, where the types of threats are, and what you need to go ahead and remediate if you decide to. So we've been in operation, as I say, for our core services of View and Extend have been operating for a year, and we've built up that customer base. We've launched Secure this week. And what we're seeing is, incredible amount of user statistics. So this has been live, and this is what we're seeing. 6%, this is not per company, this is per device. 6% of all devices that are running through the Wandera platform today are accessing malware through the browser. 23% of the apps, 23% of the devices have apps that are sending their email address in the clear. A smaller percentage, 5%, are sending the password in the clear. 25%, this is a big thing. A lot of companies are telling us that they try and restrict updates to OS because things break, like their other enterprise mobility vendors. And a lot of end users don't update their outdated OS. And these keeps these vulnerabilities and exposures to exploits out in the wild a lot longer. So just finally, we have a ground-up dedicated approach to mobile. And what we've tried to do is address the feedback that we've heard consistently from customers over the course of the last year. And what we're hearing is they want to invest in a solution that's transparent for end users. With security, you keep having this balance. We've been in the security industry, myself, for 15 years. We launched this company, ScanSafe, it was the world's first cloud web security company. And it's this constant balance between protecting your network assets and your data while still enabling mobility and productivity for the workforce. And so you need a solution in security that's very comprehensive, very robust, but still is transparent for end users. It's not going to feel intrusive to them, and they feel that they're getting a benefit and can continue to engage with their device tomorrow as they did today. And that's what we've tried to achieve with Wandera. Try and help report and prioritize action for administrators so you easily know where you stand and what actions you need to take. Have integrations with existing investments, so we're integrated with all of the leading MDMs from deployment, for example. And I guess the last comment for us is, if you just step back, we haven't met a customer today that feels that they know exactly what their plan is in enterprise mobility. It's constantly changing. Which platform are we going to choose? Are we going to do BYOD or CYOD or introduce corporate liable fleet? What do we need to do as it relates to ring fencing and securing data or containers? And the message that we're hearing is they want to work with a vendor that's future-proof. So if they're making an investment today, they're benefiting for as many value-added services as possible. A mobile data gateway is an extensible platform, and as we introduce new services like security, there's zero incremental deployment for our customers. So we can turn to our customers today and say, if you took the security service, this is what we're seeing, and they can make a decision on a per-feature, per-service basis in real time. That's it for me. We do have a booth outside, so if anyone wants to see a real-life demonstration of Radar, please do visit us, and thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Roy.